Hello, friends. I'm Anderson Marchak,
And I'm Ricardo Segura.
and we are the Panel Bros. Welcome to the panel.
Welcome to the panel. Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Oh, yeah.
So, as of this recording, it is mid March 2026, and the 2026 Oscars just happened.
Yep.
So, we've been doing this for a few years now. So, Ricardo and I are going to give our reactions to
Mm-hmm.
the 2026 Oscars here. I believe this is episode 94, Ricardo.
Woo, we getting close to 100, baby. We getting there.
Yeah,
We getting there.
we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. So, thank you, folks, for your support. We are still doing our thing here. Please stay
Mm-hmm.
tuned for that 100th episode. I'm going to keep mentioning it because it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So, let's just get into it here. Get started with our winners, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
All righty. So first off, we're going to start with best visual effects. And typically this ends up being like genre films, those comic booky, science fiction,
Mm-hmm.
action films type deal. We have Sinners, which we will talk about many times
Oh,
today.
yeah,
So
we will.
yeah, we have Sinners, we have The Lost Bus, we have Jurassic World Rebirth, F1, and our winner, Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Brother, look, I told you this off the air. I texted a few of my boys while the show was on. And I will repeat exactly what I told you off the air and what I told them. When they were going through the nominees, I genuinely said, listen, I'm rooting for everyone. I said, but if you're going against an Avatar film for visual effects, don't even write a speech. I was just like, listen, like, and it's not shading any of their visual effects because they're all great. But technology wise, what Cameron is able to do with his team in an empty warehouse, to the degree in which when you watch these films, you often forget, oh my God, wait, that's not real. That's not like I'm blown away. Again, we talk about this too. A lot of what carries those movies are the visual effects. That movie is a giant visual effect. And you kind of get swept up in it. You know, those movies are fun, there's action, there's drama, but those visuals, man, that's what sold so many people. That's why everyone was always constantly stating that if you really wanted to watch it and enjoy it for all it's worth, you had to see it in the theater. Like that, I was that guy. I told many friends, like, hey man, you got to see it. And I was pushing for IMAX on everyone. I was like, dude, please see it on the biggest screen imaginable because of those visual effects, man. They were just fantastic.
Yeah, deservedly so. I think so. Just to go along with what you said, it's anytime you see an Avatar movie, it's going to be an achievement in CGI
Mm-hmm.
and what they can accomplish. From the first one to the second one, and now the third one. I just wanted to note something here. Usually, you'll see a superhero movie in this
Yeah,
category, and there is
very
no
true.
superhero movies here. And um, people said that it was a slow year for superhero movies as far as the box office goes, and they don't obviously the Academy doesn't really look at that, but
Mm-hmm.
just something to note here, as
Yeah.
far as the superhero movies that came out this past year. So, alrighty. Next up, we have Best Film Editing. So, once again, we have Sinners, Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, F1, and then our winner, One Battle After Another. So,
Yeah.
Ricardo, could you please explain to the folks what film editing means in your
Oh
opinion?
man,
Yeah.
editing comes down to everything that puts this movie together. I think a lot of times people forget how important editing is, right?
Yeah.
Because like an editor has to have just as strong an eye as a director, right? Because a director is going to put all these pieces together in their mind, put it out for the editor, and the editor has to capture that. And the editor often will be the one that's dictating, hey, this is what goes here, this is what goes there. We're going to do this. You got the sound mixer, you got the sound editor, you got the you got all these beautiful shots that you see in film are amazing shots, cinematography wise. The cinematographer, the DP, they're responsible for creating these shots. But if you don't have an editor that can put these in place to help tell the narrative and the story in a way that needs to be told, like, you're beat. And an editor is so important. And that's why I was very grateful that at the Oscars this year, they mentioned that before they handed out the award. They were like, listen, man, like, these movies require a lot of people to come together. And one of the most important jobs you can have on a film is an editor.
So sometimes the director doubles as the editor,
Mm-hmm.
or he or she co-edits. Um, do they just explain the vision to the editor if they're not listed as the editor? Like, please refer to the script as far as the order of the movie, because it's shot out of order a lot. A lot of
Yep.
people don't know that the film is shot out
Oh
of
yeah.
order. So is that what typically happens? Does the editor refer to the script and notes from the director? How does that usually work?
It's usually everything. So you got notes from the director and storyboarding. Like storyboarding is
There
very
we
important
go.
as well, because when you have your storyboards in front of you, they can see the lineup of how the director wants to tell their story. When you have a storyboard, when you have your storyboard, you don't have your story out of order, right? You have your scenes. You're like, hey, this happens, this happens, this happens, and this happens, right? A movie shot out of order, but you have your storyboards in order, which is why oftentimes when you see like a director, we'll use Zack Snyder for example, when he was talking about the Justice League and he shared the storyboards, you could follow along with those storyboards. Christopher Nolan, when he was working on Dunkirk, that movie almost could rely on being absent of dialogue, because he told a lot of that story through visuals and storyboard. Mad Max Fury Road, same thing. Like you could follow along this story just a storyboard alone. So an editor has a storyboard to work with. They got the notes to work with, and oftentimes you have a director there. You'll have a director there if they have the time to sit there with an editor. And sometimes you have people that are directors that are also editing. Robert Rodriguez is a big one. Robert Rodriguez loves to direct, Ethan Wright, and edit his own movies, and that's why you get a lot of that flair. You know what I'm saying? Nolan, Snyder, a lot of these guys, Denis Villeneuve, you can tell a lot of these guys are in that room with their editors. Like they're in there. And great minds will often understand that even though this is their baby, an editor has an eye for this thing. Like I've worked with editors in the past where I'm like, hey, this is how I want it. And an editor will go, hey, okay, that's great. I can do that. But I'm going to show you something. And an editor would show me something. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think of that. That's way better. Yeah. And that's what an editor does. So it's that great collaboration. But an editor is just super important. But yeah, to go back, director's notes, storyboard is a big one, and script.
Yeah, that's great. And I didn't want to spend too much time talking about this, but it's very crucial when you're watching a movie. You know, the editing, you can have a movie where, you know, these I want to say like a Guy Ritchie, you know, back in the day, you're just out of order, but it's telling a story, even though it's out of order. Nolan has a lot of flashbacks, so that's a part
Memento.
of
like talk about Memento.
Memento's like backwards, you know. There we go. That's an editing job, you know. But a lot of his movies, like Batman Begins, you know, just a lot of flashbacks, you know. So and then hard cuts. Nolan does a lot of hard cuts, and then some. I don't want to name names, but some directors like to fade to black a lot before they go to the next scene, you know, and sometimes they do the bleed, you know, the crossfade, all that stuff. So it's really important. So thank you for that, sir.
Oh yeah.
All righty. Next up, best costume design. We have our nominees are Sinners, Marty Supreme, Hamnet, Avatar Fire and Ash, and then we have our winner, Frankenstein, a period piece.
Yeah, dude. Look,
movie. Big fan you were, right?
Oh, I was a huge fan. And when it comes to costume design, anytime you got a period piece, in my opinion, it's always like that's the one to beat, because like Sinners, period piece, like we're talking about the Jim Crow era, and you're talking about, you know, what people were wearing during that time, which isn't something that's worn today, right? So I feel like anytime a movie gets to explore history and the past, that always gives them a little nudge, because we're exploring things that aren't made anymore, even down to the material. You have God, I'm blanking on his name, so please help me. The director of Nosferatu, that was just released not that long ago.
Eggers?
Eggers. When Eggers works on costume design, he works with designers that make sure they have the exact same material that would have been used for those costume designs, and that's important. So I feel like when it comes to period pieces, that plays such a big role, and that goes into the voting as well, where they're like, hey, in this time period, this would be the material that they would be wearing, not this, you know. Like you can tell the difference if you've seen a stage play and you go to theater, or if you're seeing like an indie film, majority of the time you have a great costume designer with modern materials, what we have today. And when you have a period piece, you just get to dig into that old stuff, and it always seems to give it a nudge. And personally, Frankenstein was my pick for this, because the designs were incredible. Not only were they you know, not only were they great for the time period, but the costume designs in themselves had so much character. Like each character was also personified by what they were wearing and their colors and their representation. You know what I mean? Like Oscar Isaac looked incredible. You know, Elordi as the creature looked incredible. Oh God, what's her name? Mia Goth, who played more than one role in that movie. Her wardrobe changed depending on the character. Just incredible. So for me personally, yeah, Frankenstein was the one to beat in costume design.
Yeah, if you're looking at the other period piece here, we have Hamnet, that's Shakespearean era,
Mhm.
and then Sinners, a little bit more modern,
Yep.
so 1900s, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. It was the right call. Frankenstein, just extravagant
Yeah,
looking
dude. Like
costumes from the era that that they were trying to display, and um, yeah, absolutely, rightfully so. I find it funny that Avatar got best costume design as well, and it was all CGI,
I, I
but
I thought about that and
yeah,
I was like, well, wait a minute. And I
but
was
they were
like,
wearing
costume design.
costumes. Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, they are. I'm like, okay, yeah, like you still have these designs. You still have someone who sits there and designs the look and representation of the characters and everything. So I'm like, okay, yeah, but you forget that often, yeah, it's all visual effect.
yeah. Alrighty, next up is best makeup and hairstyling. So we
Mhm.
have the ugly stepsister, the smashing machine. Shout out to your boy, The Rock, Dwayne
Oh yeah,
Johnson. We have Sinners. We have Kakuho. Apologies if I mispronounced that. And then our winner, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. So,
yeah, baby.
so once again, just typically you'll see a genre movie
Hmm.
get
Yep.
something like this. You're looking at science fiction, you're looking at horror, that type of deal, and superhero movies as well. And a lot of genre stuff in here, but clearly Frankenstein was the winner.
Frankenstein. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
the design of the creature, and
dude.
then the body horror stuff that they had
Yep.
to show, and just the experiments. Like it was gonna win.
It was awesome. And look,
Yeah,
Guillermo, as we know, loves practical effects. He is a big
yeah,
supporter of practical effects. He will use visual effects. You know, it's a nice way to blend. So when you're seeing the creature and you're seeing how much makeup and prosthetics were applied for the creature, you just can't help but look at it and how practical it looked. And I mean practical in the sense where like it looks breathable, like he's able to move comfortably. Just really well done stuff, man. And yeah, this was another one that I was rooting for Frankenstein all night because I was a big fan of Frankenstein, and
yeah.
horror was just having a good night this night, and
That's right.
I was very very happy to see it for Frankenstein.
I thought that Sinners had a chance because of the vampires and the way that
Oh
they
yeah,
have to make them look,
oh
and
yeah.
then,
Some of the prosthetics in there were fantastic. Like when
yeah, exactly, and then, it's bloody, it's gory, so you're gonna
mhm.
have that, effect, and then, obviously, not to give it away, but Jack O'Connell's look toward the end of the movie.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. That
Yeah,
look at the end is amazing work, like just
yeah,
amazing work.
yeah, absolutely, but love this category, love when they reward those practical effects. Really
Hmm.
cool stuff. Alrighty, so next up is best cinematography. So we have Train Dreams, One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, and our winner. Here we go. We have a little screen share here. Alrighty, it's Sinners. Her name is Autumn Durald Arkapatou. Uh,
History in the
Ar-
making.
yeah, Arkapaou, excuse me. Yes,
Hmm.
is this the first time a winner
Yeah.
was a woman for
Yes.
best cinematographer? Shout out
Unbelievable, bro.
to Sinners for winning this. It was their first. Well, not their first. I'm not doing this chronologically, but it was one of their wins for the night. Um, Shout out to Kugler for getting her.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Listen, she was incredible. There were scenes in that movie that I would love to just hang up as a painting.
Yeah,
And she had such a beautiful eye. And little things like when you had that sequence, that musical
right.
sequence and the aspect ratio changed,
Right.
and you get this incredible oneer, and I remember you and I saw it together, man, and I remember just going like, not only because of the visual of the story itself, but just how it was presented to our eyes through the screen. I was like, dude, this is special. Like, this is special.
Right.
So she was so deserving of it. I think Frankenstein had great cinematography. I think One Battle After Another had great cinematography. There was a couple times in One Battle After Another that I was screen recording like off my phone, just watching the TV, and I was sending it to my friends. I'm like, hey man, this shot, like my friends that are DPs and
Oh,
my
there we
friends that are
go.
cinematographer, I was sending it to them. I was like, dude, this shot is amazing. You know, little things, the choices that were made. And I was like, oh man, did you see this shot? How about the shot when they're going up and down the road and they're going down, and every time they come up, the car comes and it vanishes, and little things like that. Like, so there were some picks here, but Sinners was my pick for it, man. Like she did absolutely fantastic work, and I can't wait to see what she does next, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a good looking movie, and
Yep.
rightfully so here. And alrighty. Next up here, best production design. We have Sinners, One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, Hamnet, and our winner. Little screen share here. No screen share. Apologies. our winner is Frankenstein. So
Yes.
thank you, Ricardo. You've educated us in the past as far as production design. So the
Oh yeah.
production design is basically how the movie looks, right? Everything
Oh
that we
yeah.
see.
Everything you see, man. And again, Guillermo's a physical guy. So, like, knowing
Yeah.
that they built these sets and, like, oh my God, like the laboratory in itself was like, I want to walk in there. Like, I personally wanted to walk through that entire laboratory where he creates the creature. Like, my God, they built this.
Yeah. So production design is meant to reward the world that they build for you when you
Mm-hmm.
see the movie, whether it's modern day, whether it's period piece, whether it's fantasy, sci-fi, it's what you see
Yep.
when you're watching the movie. So yeah, we got those 3 Oscars there for Frankenstein. You
Yeah,
know,
boy, I was so
yeah,
happy. I was so
costume
happy.
design, makeup and hairstyling, and production design. So 3 technical awards, deservedly so.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Next up, this was a first-time Oscar. It's Best Casting.
Yeah, I like
So
this. I like this award. I like this award a
yeah.
lot.
So I want to clarify. Apparently, they're not rewarding the ensemble cast
No,
because
no.
that would be a little bit hard to gauge because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, which cast was stronger in their acting? I mean,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's you're rewarding the casting of the person playing the characters or people
Mm-hmm.
playing the characters. So, so it's a little bit of the ensemble, but not so much the acting, just the casting part. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah.
Alrighty, great. So, um, having said that, we have um, a few ensembles here. Let's take a peek. We have Sinners, The Secret Agent, Marty Supreme, Hamnet, and our winner. Got a screen share here. It is One Battle After Another. Her name is
Yep.
Cassandra Kalukundis. So,
Oh yeah.
first time Oscar, and
Yeah.
another one to One Battle After Another. We'll talk about that as we go along
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
over the night. So, selfishly so, I don't get me wrong, One Battle had a great cast,
Mhm.
and I thought everyone was casted wonderfully. It was great. I wanted Sinners to win this one.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did. I thought that because, like you said, it's not about the ensemble team itself, but it's about the eye of the casting director finding the right people for the roles.
Yeah.
And having watched Sinners multiple times and just seeing these actors in these roles, I'm like, man, this is so good. Like it just everything fit. And we got some strong performances. Um, I was rooting for Sinners. You
So
know,
many
I
so many memorable characters. Obviously, Michael B.
yeah.
Jordan, Smoke and Stack. We have Delroy Lindo's character.
Delroy
Um,
Lindo, so good.
you know, we had the young man that played his cousin.
Mhm.
I can't think of his name right now, but he was awesome. Um, we had the Asian couple.
Oh,
Uh,
dude,
we
like, come
had
on.
Jack O'Connell. Like there were so many strong roles.
D
Um,
Dude, Jack O'Connell became a household name because of this movie and this casting.
Yeah,
Like a lot of people had no idea who Jack O'Connell was until this movie, and it's
right.
like, yeah,
Your girl Haley Steinfeld. You know,
Haley. Look, that casting was so good because when she opened her mouth, you were like, "Excuse me," like the
right,
dialogue that had her say, and it was so like depending on who you cast for that, right? They
right,
could have casted someone that when the words, just flew off the tongue, we would have just been like, yeah, that makes sense. But because it was her, we were
correct.
just like, whoa. And that's a
Whoa.
good reaction. It took us back. That was a good reaction to have.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Miles Catan as Sammy Moore. Um,
Crushed it. Crushed it.
yeah, he was awesome. Let's see here. Ji Jun Lee as Grace. Wunmi Mosaku as Annie. Like, I'm naming these names because everyone did so well in their
Yep.
their roles. So that's why we were rooting for Sinners, but
Yeah, I
wasn't meant to
was.
be.
Yep. Yep.
All righty, got another technical award here, best sound design.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Sarat, we have Sinners, One Battle After Another, Frankenstein, and our winner, F1.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the two of us, I saw F1. Ricardo has not yet.
You've seen it in the best way possible.
I saw
And
it in the movie theater.
I'm still, I refuse to watch it at home. I'm like, no, I'm going to rent a theater and
Yeah.
see this the way it's meant to be seen. For what, and one of those reasons, and we talked about it, is the sound design. I want to get the best out of the sound design.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was happy that it won because I felt like I was in the car with them as they were racing around the racetrack. You could hear the wheels, you could hear the revving of the engines. It was so exciting,
Mm-hmm.
and I was glad that they rewarded F1 with said Oscar. Let me see here. I mean, maybe One Battle, maybe Sinners, but just the distinctness of how much the movie depended on the sound design, I would say it was F1.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It was
which makes sense.
yeah, it was just like when the director Kaczynski when he made Top Gun Maverick. The
Yup.
sound design depended so much on that movie where they're flying around and such. So alrighty, best original song. We're gonna get to riff a little bit here. Okay, so our nominees are Train Dreams from Train Dreams, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verdi. We have I Lied to You from Sinners. We have Dear Me from Diane Warren, Relentless. And then we have the winner. We have a little screen share here. We have Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. Music and lyrics by your girl EJ, Mark Sonnenblick, and June. There's a few people here.
Oh yeah.
Uh, uh, June Gu Kwak, Yoon Han Lee, Hee Dong Nam. So, oh boy, this was
This
awesome. This was
this
great.
was a good one.
Look at EJ crying on the stage, man. You can't help but be happy for her. So, the story, please look into this, folks.
Yeah.
This woman, which by the way, she's in her early 30s. And
Oh yeah.
I don't know how old she was when she was trying to break into the business as a K-pop star. She was told overseas that she was getting too old to
Mm-hmm.
do it. And there's a story from all the singers. Like they all had these stories about how they didn't make it as K-pop stars before they got them to be the singing voices of Huntrix. And obviously, not only playing the singing voice, EJ got to play a part in writing Golden. And unless you've been living under a rock, K-pop Demon Hunters took the world by storm this past year. It was
Absolutely.
awesome. Anybody with kids, adults, like this was the last time I remember a song from an animated movie making it on the radio, I am not
Yep.
exaggerating,
Yep.
was "Let It Go" from Frozen, which, by the way, that won an Oscar that year too.
Yep.
So, but I'm listening to the radio and I'm hearing "Golden" on the radio because it's such a solid song. It's really cool, you know. Um, I want to say it won a Grammy as well, and a Golden Globe.
Hmm.
So good for EJ. Please,
Yeah.
Ricardo.
I was so happy for her, man, especially knowing
Yeah.
her story. Again, from being told that you were too old to be a
Mm,
K-pop star when that was her dream, and then being a part of a movie, K-pop Demon Hunters, which kind of brought K-pop into the mainstream that it hasn't been in a very, very long time here in the States and throughout the world. And seeing that she's getting the recognition for it was just such a beautiful thing. I was so happy. Um, I Lie to You from Sinners was a
yeah.
very strong contender,
Oh, yeah, there was a
very
chance
strong because
people thought it
because
might have
I
won, yeah.
those were the two. For me, it was Golden and I Lied to You, and I was like, both of these are extremely strong, and for completely different reasons. And I gave the slight edge to Golden because of the global cultural impact that it had on the
Right.
world. And I was like, I haven't seen a song like that, like you mentioned, since Let It Go. I remember, I'm so glad you brought it up. I remember sitting in the car driving and Golden came on the radio and I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, this Netflix animated feature, K-pop, which is not predominantly a United States
Right.
genre but you know what I mean? Like it's just not. And it was so big. And I love when genres of music or stories from other cultures cross over. That's always a big thing. I
Yeah.
always love that. And it kind of broke it. And, just to like my daughter was so excited that it won. And like seeing her like jump in the air and be like, oh yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters won. Like that just it hit. And like as a parent to be able to see that and knowing that EJ sees that, EJ seeing kids from all over the world, adults from all over the world enjoying that song. And the message behind the song is so beautiful, right? Like the message behind the song itself, Golden. Like I'm gonna show and be what I can be. So I was so elated to see it win. She absolutely deserved it.
Absolutely. So, obviously, they're already talking about a golden sequel,
Mhm.
which we'll get to once we get to the best animated feature, but just to focus on the singers. So we have EJ, Audrey, Nunya, and, Ray Ami, and they've been performing live,
Mhm.
and they've been doing amazing performing live.
Oh yeah.
No confirmation yet, but whoever needs to figure it out, these young ladies need to tour, you
I
know?
want a tour. I absolutely
I
I
mean,
would pay to take my kids to see this.
yeah, I mean, obviously, probably for rights, they can't really call themselves Huntrix, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can sing the songs from Huntrix. Let's go,
Mhm.
folks.
Yeah.
Like capitalize on this. Strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, it's not unheard of. Like Glee went on a tour and they played the characters and they sang on stage. Like, dude, we can do this. Like, let's do this.
Yeah, there you go. Alrighty. So next up, best original score. This is uh, the music from the movies, not just a
Mhm.
song. So we have One Battle After Another. We have Hamnet, Frankenstein, Begonia, and our winner. We're going to do a screen share here.
Yeah.
Sinners, we got Ludwig Göransson. This is my man's third Oscar.
Bro, he's killing it.
Yeah, he won for Black Panther.
Hmm.
He previously with Ryan Coogler, he
Hmm.
won with In Nolan We Trust. Nolan. He
Oh
won for
yeah.
Oppenheimer, and then now with Sinners. So he's doing really well for himself. So this is just in simple terms, just the music of the movie, what you hear
Yeah.
playing,
Yes.
when the movie's going on. Out of the other nominees, did you see anyone else having a chance, Spidey?
To be honest, I went with Sinners. And look, I like Frankenstein. I like One Battle After Another, but it was Sinners for me because obviously with the score, it's about conveying emotion without words. It's always instrumental, right? Like we've heard, like you take a movie like K-pop Demon Hunters where you have songs that are literally singing the lyrics and telling you, where in a score, it's like, hey, it can no longer tell us. So it has to convey emotion through sound. And when I watch Sinners, I listen to that soundtrack. I have the soundtrack and
Oh,
I have the
nice.
score. I have both, where I have the lyrical songs as well as the score throughout the movie. And when you can hear those songs, those scores, and see those sequences, see those scenes, feel those emotions, it shows you how important the score is. So for me, it was Sinners all the way through on this one.
Uh, since you've listened to the actual score, is it a lot of
Mhm.
blues?
Oh yeah. There's a
A lot of
lot of that,
blues.
a lot of rhythm, jazz, blues, and just like it just oh man, like there's action scores in it, obviously for when they fight the vampires. There's horror based scores,
Oh, there we go.
a
Yeah.
lot. So like there's a lot of horror bass in it where it's like very heavy. There's almost at times a heavy metal sound, especially with
Ah,
Jack O'Connor's character, where it's like, remember the part in the movie he goes Sammy.
oh yeah.
There's this hardcore like roar, like it just like it hits. So there's these great emotional beats, like when at the end of the movie, when Smoke is seeing like his child, and you get this like beautiful score. So like the movie has, I think that's why he won, because there's such a unique blend of different levels of emotion, whether it's fear, whether it's anxiety, whether it's action, and whether it's like pain and sorrow throughout the entire album. It's just fantastic.
Alrighty. Next up, Best International Feature Film. So this is the one where unfortunately it's just hard to catch these. They
Yeah,
don't
it
really
is.
get
It is. It
wide
absolutely is.
release. It's just hard to get them, you
It's
know.
hard to find them a lot of times. Like, you're just like,
Yeah,
"I don't even know
and
where to
even
find this." Yeah.
streaming. Yeah,
Yeah.
so no surprise here. So we have the voice of Hind Rajab. We
Mhm.
have Sarat. Uh, we have. Sorry, let me move back here. Let me see. We have the voice of Hind Rajab.
Mhm.
We have Sarat. We have the secret agent. We have It Was Just an Accident. And our winner, the one that's everyone is speculating would win, which was Sentimental Value.
Yeah, I heard
This,
about that a lot.
yeah, this movie was um, it was led by Stellan Skarsgård.
Mhm.
Um, uh, it's a it's in Norwegian, Swedish, and English. So we have Skarsgård mostly speaking not in English
Yeah.
in this movie, even though he's known for being an English speaking actor. Um, you have your girl Elle Fanning; she's in it as well. She got a lot of praise for her performance. Out of all these, it's the only one I saw.
Yeah.
So, um, so I can't really argue with it, but um, just wanted to give some love to the international feature film there.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next up, so back to animated feature here. We have Zootopia 2. Uh, we have Little Amelie or the Character of Rain. We have Elio. We have Arco. And then our winner. Got a screen share here. K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yes, another big
So,
celebratory moment.
absolutely. Maggie Kang, Chris Appahans, and Michelle L.M. Wong. So shout out to these folks here for bringing this phenomenal movie to life. And
Yes.
um, so happy for them. I mean, obviously, we've been gushing about the singers of Huntrix getting a second chance now doing this. But without these creators, it's not possible. So just happy for them, deservedly so. It was the animated movie of the year.
It was.
I
It was an event. It
you
was an
know, and it
event,
was and it
dude.
was on Netflix. You know, it had a limited release in the movie
Yeah.
theater, but it got so big. We talked about this on our top 10 list. It became the most watched Netflix movie of all time,
Of
not
all
just
time.
animated.
Dude, I usually when a movie gets a limited theatrical release and it's a Netflix movie, it will get it prior to the Netflix release or the same
Yeah,
day. And this was a movie that had been on Netflix already for a considerable amount of time. Everybody watched it. Then they released in theaters, and people who had already seen it wanted to see it in the theater. Like that,
right.
that's
So,
important. Like that's a movie
and you're a parent, you know what happens when your kid likes a movie. Guess what happens? That movie's gonna
all
get
the time.
that movie's gonna
All
get
the
put
time.
on, and when it's
Yep.
done, replay.
Loop. We had the merchandise in the house. We had the
Oh yeah,
toys. We had the music constantly. We listened to it in the car. It was nonstop, but like it was so welcomed. It was so
right.
welcome.
Yeah, so families around the world came together and ended up
Hmm.
pushing this movie to
Yeah.
being the most streamed Netflix movie of all time. So I had to look it up. I hope I'm not incorrect in this. The last time this happened, where Best Animated Feature and Best Song won, was Frozen.
Oh
That
yeah, I guess
also
yeah,
won the
I can see
Oscar
if that
and the
checks out.
animated. So, and we talked about that. That was the last time I remember an animated features song
Hmm.
on the radio, you know?
Yep.
So, shout out to K-pop Demon Hunters. It's going to be great to see what they do next. We're all looking forward to the sequel.
Hmm.
We're all looking forward to seeing what the singers of Huntrix do next as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to animation. Animation is
Oh
cinema.
yeah. Yes.
Alrighty, next up, best adapted screenplay. So this is where the screenplay, the script rather, is based on another work. Could be
Hmm.
usually a book or a poem or some type of written material, and we adapted it into a movie. So we have Train Dreams, Hamnet, Frankenstein, Begonia, and our winner. We got a screen share here. One Battle After Another, Paul
Yep.
Thomas Anderson. This was based on a novel,
Hmm.
a novel called Vineland, actually.
Yeah,
LOL.
baby. Yeah, violin.
LOL. So, okay, of course, adapted screenplays can also be based upon other movies
Oh
or
yeah.
other properties, IPs and such. So that's what
Yes.
adapted means. So there he is, Paul Thomas Anderson. We're going to talk about this a little bit later as far as the Oscar wins for One Battle, but by the end of the night, it it was between Sinners and One Battle. It started looking like who's going to have more.
Yeah, like that. Those were the two that I was like, oh, like we got a battle going on here,
Yeah.
literally.
And sometimes, and we say this every year, they start stacking them up,
Oh yeah.
like where the best picture will win the best written that lines up with it. Sometimes the
Hmm.
director and the writing, or the director, best picture writing, like they start lining up. So that'll give you a little preview of, how One Battle did that night.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. Next up, it's best original screenplay. I am partial to this because that means it was an original movie and not based on anything else. So,
Yep.
alrighty. We have Sentimental Value, Marty Supreme, which, by the way, loosely based on a real life ping pong player, but a
Hmm.
completely fictional story. So that's why it
Okay.
got best original screenplay. It Was Just an Accident, Blue Moon, and our winner. Show some love to your boy Ryan Coogler for Sinners.
Yeah, baby. Yeah,
Oh
baby. This
yes,
this was the one, and I was very confident about this one. I told multiple people when we were discussing beforehand, like, hey, do you think Sinners is going to win Best Picture or One Battle? And we would go back and forth, back and forth. And I said, listen, I don't know, but I said without a shadow of a doubt, this is going to win Best Original Screenplay. I said
ugh,
this is going to win
had
without
to.
a shadow of a doubt. I was like, this is going to win. From the idea of taking a vampire movie and writing in so much about culture and the clash of cultures, and the idea of connecting the protagonist of Irish culture versus or I should say antagonist versus our protagonist with Irish and African American culture, and bringing that together and being so much deeper and more lore than we expected, and just having that in the writing and exploring religious themes. There was great religious themes in this movie, as well as the idea of evil, which is supernatural, versus evil, which is based in reality, and
Right.
just mixing all that together in such an amazing blend through the writing was just like Ryan absolutely deserved this. Like I was like, if Ryan was going to get any Oscar, it was this one.
So for me, not just the story, but when the characters drop these lines that just hit you,
Oh yeah.
that gets me too. And that happened a lot in this movie. Some of these lines were just incredible. Just the
Mm-hmm.
way that they were dropped, from the ridiculous lines like Haley
Oh my
Steinfeld
God. Yup.
to the
Yup.
heartfelt lines that Smoke and Stack said to one another, to Jack O'Connell's character, the way he delivered them. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
love these lines. Oh my gosh. That one scene where Wound Me and Michael B. Jordan's character, where they had that reunion, they were
Oh
just
my God.
dropping these lines on each other. It
Mm-hmm.
was like a reunion after all these years, so good job on Ryan Coogler for getting best original screenplay. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And like this is one line and you remember it. Where at the end of the movie, as Smoke is lighting a cigarette, um, or whatever he was about to smoke, and he sees her holding the child, and she goes, "Put that out. I don't want you to get any smoke on her." And it's just like it's such a clever way of saying, like, drop that persona, drop that Smoke persona, and just be her father. And like,
Yeah.
it's little things like that that I'm like, oh, right, like, oh, what a great use of dialogue. That was so great. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's great. Alrighty, folks, we're getting towards the big awards here, the acting
Mm-hmm.
awards, director, best picture. So here we are with best supporting actress. Our nominees: Tiana Taylor, One Battle After Another; Wunmi Mosaku, Sinners; Inga Ibsdottir, Lilius, Sentimental Value;
Mm-hmm.
Elle Fanning,
Yeah.
Sentimental Value, excuse me. And our winner. I know Ricardo was excited for this.
Oh, I was hype.
Yeah. Amy Madigan, Weapons.
Yeah, and this was the first award of the night, if I'm not mistaken,
It
correct?
was
Wasn't
the
this
first award of
the
the
first
night.
award of the night? And I remember texting you and saying Hard just won the first Oscar of the night, and I
Yeah,
was just like, I did. And look, I'm not saying I didn't expect it because she's great in that movie. Like,
right.
there are times where it's almost comical the way she's playing the role, and then there are other times where she's just absolutely frightening, absolutely frightening. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be in a room with this individual right now. So like it could, like, this was one that I was like, I wasn't sure. Like, I really wasn't sure who they were gonna go with. Like, I didn't know if they were going with our girl Wunmi Mosaku from Sinners. Like, I was like, is that where we're going? Are we going with Elle Fanning, who's been getting a lot of praise right now through her career and the choices that she's making? So I was like, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure, but I was pleasantly surprised that we went with Amy Madigan as Weapons, as Gladys, because man, that she was in almost zero marketing, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember
Yeah.
seeing her in the movie, going, "Who is that?" So to walk into the movie not knowing about her character at all, and walking out being blown away by her performance was something to have.
So when we saw Weapons, I'm sitting there thinking there's a chance she might get nominated during awards season for
Mm-hmm.
this type of role. But there's hesitation because it's a horror movie, and
Because it's a horror movie,
they've been snubbing horror movies for years.
a
But
long time.
we'll get into it. There have been some winners. There have
Mm-hmm.
been some winners, but typically, because it's a horror movie, it's a genre film. But it was such a special performance, and
Yeah.
shout out to the makeup and hairstyling crew. They made her look
Oh yeah.
ridiculous.
Yep.
They
Yep.
really added to that look. But she's a vet. She's been in the game for a really long time. I think I read something where she was nominated, and then she didn't get nominated again for like decades.
Oh yeah.
And then she got nominated again, and then she won this. So that was really cool. Such an iconic role. They're working on a Gladys prequel, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. That's how good she was and how interesting the
Yeah.
role was. That they're like, we're working on a prequel. And usually, again, I'm usually kind of against that kind of thing because I'm like, oh no, she did great, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, is she gonna play the person, or are they gonna get somebody younger? So
Yeah, that's true.
we'll
That's
see.
true.
Yeah, we'll see. But shout out to Amy Madigan, deservedly so. Um, People were torn on this.
Hmm.
I thought this was a shocker, in my opinion, because I thought this was going to go to Tiana Taylor for one battle.
Oh yeah, 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 dude. That was another one. That was a star making performance.
Yeah, because
Yep.
people were talking about her. People were talking about Wound Me. If the Academy wanted to reward Sinners for the night, that she would have gotten it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I was surprised that Amy Madigan got it, but good for
Hmm.
her. Alrighty, next up, Best Supporting Actor. We have Stellan Skarsgård, Sentimental Value. Delroy Lindo,
Mm.
Sinners. Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein. Benicio del Toro, one of my guys.
Oh yeah.
One battle after another. Then we have the winner. Sean Penn, one
Hmm.
battle after another.
Yeah.
So there is no screen share of him accepting the award,
Your boy didn't go.
because he wasn't there. So you're
Nope.
seeing a screenshot of Colonel Lockjaw.
Yeah, that's what you get.
That's what you get. So this is his third Oscar.
Hmm.
He's been nominated many times. He won it for Mystic River.
Hmm.
He won it for Milk, and now he wins it for One Battle After Another. Oh man, where do we go with this one? There's a few
Well,
people that could have won it.
yes,
There's a few
yes,
people.
yes,
People are
yes.
calling Sentimental Value Stellan Skarsgård's career performance. They're saying it's
Hmm.
his best performance. Delroy Lindo, let's be
Hmm.
honest, it would have been a legacy win because he's been
Hmm.
in the game for a really long time. Jacob Elordi, which, wow, what a performance as the creature. This is
Yeah.
stacked every year. The best supporting
It
actor is
was like
stacked. Yeah,
this is one that was stacked. It could have gone many ways.
right. And then Benicio del Toro, the constant character.
So good.
Every time he's in a movie, he just brings it. He owns the characters. They're quirky, they're serious, they're intense, like such a across the spectrum.
Hmm.
Wonderful actor. And then we have Sean Penn, this over the top character.
Oh yeah.
In the movie, he chose a distinct voice. Once again, the
Hmm.
makeup and hairstyling team did something for him too. So it could have gone to any of these folks.
Yeah.
But once again, if the Academy wanted to reward sinners, then people were thinking, well, maybe Dora Linda would get it. You know,
Hmm.
Elordi's a little young, so people
Yeah.
didn't think he
Yeah.
was going to win.
Yeah.
Because he was young. Unfortunately, we've seen it where first time nominees won. We've seen that many
Hmm.
times over the years,
Yeah.
but not this year. Um, Obviously, it could have gone to any of these guys, but for whatever reason, the Academy went with Sean Penn, and I don't know. I'm a little baffled that it did
Yeah.
go to Sean Penn.
I was torn. I was rooting personally for Delroy Lindo. I think he's had an amazing career that sometimes gets overlooked. I remember thinking he should have been nominated for the Five Bloods.
Mm,
And I remember telling you, like, just based off of one monologue in that movie alone, I was like, if they don't nominate him, that is a crime. And my boy didn't get the love that he deserved. So once he got nominated for Sinners, I was like, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe this is
right.
them going, hey, we should have given you an opportunity. We should have nominated you at least. So we're going to give it to you now. Because again, he's great in Sinners, but it's like I've seen him in other roles where I'm just like blown away. So I thought
Yeah.
that was going to happen, but it didn't happen. A Lordy, look, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, it's possible they give it to a
Yeah.
Lordy too. Because I was like, oh, like, again, it's always one thing to give a performance, and it's another thing to give a performance through prosthetics. Like
Right.
when you have to give through those prosthetics, and you have to, tell a story with body language for a while because he doesn't speak for a while. So he's doing a lot of it through just his eyes and emoting with his body. And then as we get speech throughout the film, we're hearing it with voiceover and his delivery. So there was a part of me that was like, oh man, they could give it to him, you know. And Sean Penn, look, I'm not taking anything away from Sean Penn. He's a great actor. But like when I was going through the list of like who was possibly going to win it, I was like, he didn't jump up. Like he wasn't the one I was like, oh, they're gonna give it to Sean Penn. But ultimately they ended up giving it to him. And I believe you said, yeah, it's his third. But yeah, surprising, a little surprising.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a theory. There's no foundation for my theory. I figured it ended up being the big winner of the night. We're going to talk about it. One
Yeah.
battle. They wanted to at least give one acting award to it. So
Hmm.
who's the front runner out of everybody? Okay, Sean Penn, because of
Yeah.
based upon who the other winners went to. So,
Yep.
and I guess so. You know, he made history. I'm not going to go into it right now, but very small company of people that have 3 Oscars. You know,
Hmm.
so I mean, good for him. It was kind of a bad look because they knew. I mean, the voting closed down way before.
Yeah.
You know, so and he made it very known he was not going to be there. So
Yeah.
it's and this is the pinnacle of acting. It's the highest
Hmm.
award you could have, and credit to him. You know, he's doing some. You know, I don't want to get into what he's doing, but
Hmm.
he was, attending to world affairs, so to speak,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's, that's important to him. But um, I don't know. It was a very confusing choice to me.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. Next up here, we have Best Actress. I have some
Mm,
opinions on this too. So
mm.
let's go.
I've heard a few of these opinions. I've heard a few
Yes,
of these
yeah,
opinions. Like,
we're gonna
okay.
share them. We're gonna share them. So we have Emma Stone. She's this past decade, she's just been the Academy's been loving her.
Nominations after nomination
Yeah,
after nomination. She's in that stride right now.
yeah. So Begonia. We have Renate Rensve in Sentimental Value. Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue.
Hmm.
We have Rose Byrne. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. She was awesome in that movie. I've recommended that movie to Ricardo.
I'm scared to watch it right now, but yeah, I gotta catch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have our winner, Jessie Buckley,
Oh yeah.
Hamnet as Agnes Shakespeare, William Shakespeare's wife. So she had the there was a really funky name that I saw, but the quintet, I guess, all
Okay.
the five major acting awards. Uh, she had the Critics' Choice, the Golden Globe, the BAFTA, the SAG, and the Oscar, all five.
Oh yeah.
So there was no surprise that she was going to win. I did see Hamnet. I thought she was really good. Arguably, I don't know who else this could have gone to. Possibly Rose Byrne. I thought her performance was great.
Hmm.
But there were things that she did in Hamnet where I could see people saying, "All right, you know what? There's one scene where she has to really display some emotion, and
Hmm.
people are saying, no, that's the scene that got it for her."
They're like, that's the
So
moment.
yeah, there was a moment, and people will know the moment that I'm talking about. Don't want to spoil what happened in the movie. So I'm happy for her. Um, this is her first win. She has been nominated before. Um, there's somebody that was left out in these nominations that I don't know if she would have won, but I feel like she was a huge snub. We're not going to talk about snubs too much
Hmm.
tonight, but I have to mention Amanda Seyfried in The Testament of Anne Lee. She played the title character. She was nominated for Critics' Choice and a Golden Globe. She did not win either of those.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to be partial here. I like Amanda Seyfried. I think
I'm a
she's
fan.
great.
I'm a
Yeah,
fan.
I've seen her in many movies over the years. She tends to do musicals. You know,
Hmm.
she was in Les Mis, Mamma Mia, and The Testament of Anne Lee. But just stripping that all away, what I saw in The Testament of Anne Lee, I think I might be ready to say it's probably a career performance for her. She and we've seen her
Oh yeah.
kill it in
She's
some
great.
movies. But just I love talking about the art form of acting where you're supposed to get better as you get older. You should get better
Yeah.
as you get
Yeah.
older. And I just saw just that maturity as an actor in that movie. Just some incredible incredible performance. And you have to wonder if sometimes they don't nominate someone because then the Academy will look stupid for not giving it to that
Yeah,
person.
yeah. We can't nominate them because if they don't win, we're gonna look dumb. Yeah.
And that's happened
Oh yeah.
where the winner will win and people will go, well, why didn't
Huh?
that person win?
Yeah. Yup. Yup.
And I feel like this might have happened with this particular performance. So I'm going to shift away now. I'm not going to talk about Amanda Seyfried
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
anymore.
okay.
Um, but good for Jessie Buckley. Good for her. She's been on the grind, man. I had to look it up. She started, I think, on a reality show as a singer, like when she
Yeah.
was really young, and then
Mhm.
eventually she got into acting, and then just grinding over the years, and she won. So um, good for Jessie Buckley. I mean, you haven't seen Hamnet yet, but what have your acquaintances told you about her and her performance in
Oh my
Hamnet?
god. Uh, Anthony Scanish says he
Yeah,
loves her.
yeah. Shout out to
He
Anthony
he
Scanish.
he put her over to the moon, bro. Like he was like I believe his exact words were I'm in love with her. And just putting
Wow.
over yeah, like he said I'm in love with her, putting over her performance. And again, him just prepping me like, "Hey brother, like this is an emotional watch. Get ready." And she's got an amazing performance. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. That's another one I've been holding back on because I'm like, oh, I'm not prepared to be emotionally
It's
shattered. So I have to
right.
like get into the right frame of mind to watch it.
I will say this. Opposite all those other performances, I can see why she won.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
absolutely see why she won because I didn't see all of them, but based upon what I've seen, I saw Rose Byrne, I saw Emma Stone, and I saw Jessie Buckley. So versus those, I can see why she was nominated. Oh, and I saw Sentimental Value, so I didn't see Song Sung Blue, but I
okay.
can see why she won. I can absolutely see why she won. I'm going to say Amanda Seyfried again. If Amanda
Yeah,
Seyfried was in here, I would have felt a certain way if she won,
yeah, okay,
opposite Amanda Seyfried. Um, I don't know what happened with that movie. Fox Searchlight really let this cast down.
mhm,
I'm looking forward to Ricardo when you see it because there's
yeah,
a lot to talk about with that movie. It didn't do well at the box office, didn't do well during awards season,
mhm,
and people are saying it's like the hidden gem of this past year. So, but shout out to Jessie Buckley. I wanted to say she was nominated for The Lost Daughter,
mhm,
Best Supporting Actress. I have not seen that. That was in 2022, but first time winner. And while she's done some things, you know, this is someone who now, once you win the Oscar, then the industry looks at you like, hey,
yeah,
they
yeah.
just won the Oscar. Let's see what else we can use you in. So good for Jessie Buckley. Alrighty. Next up, Best Actor.
Woo!
Oh yeah. We have Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, ya boy, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Timothy Chalamet, Marty Supreme, and your winner. Let's do a screen share here. This one had a little bit of controversy attached to it. So,
This,
alrighty,
yes,
Michael B. Jordan, Sinners.
brother. The reaction of all the
Mm,
actors in the crowd
mm.
sent chills because
Yeah,
it felt like everyone in that room was just rooting for Michael. Like it just felt that way because you can't explain it. It's that lightning in a bottle moment where you just feel the energy and like I've watched numerous angles from this win where his name gets announced and you get to see just like the joy on everyone around him on all their
yeah,
faces and like there's one there's one frame where like it's not what you see on TV but because there's so many cameras that going on at the same time there's one where like Pedro Pascal's behind him and immediately just rushes forward and just taps him and screams yeah like it's this and you just have these moments like with him and Leonardo DiCaprio like hugging and embracing and it was just such a beautiful moment man and I was so happy to see where Michael has started to where he is now. And it was just such a beautiful moment, man.
yeah. I was really glad to see the reaction of everybody. Um, people have been watching this young man just over
Yeah.
the years. He's been acting since he was a kid,
Oh yeah, long
and
time.
they just watched him just grow up and finally just getting his accolades, as far as this
Mm-hmm.
goes. This was his first Oscar
Yeah.
nomination. So he's 1 for 1. And
Yep.
frequent collaborator with Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler, baby.
Yeah, we got Fruitville Station, uh, both Black Panther movies, Creed, and now Sinners. So I hope to see them team up again.
Oh, they will for sure. That is again, I joked about it. I'm like, this is the new like Scorsese and Leonardo
Yeah.
DiCaprio kind of a deal. It's like this is what we're seeing.
So this was a surprise because it was between Michael B. Jordan and Timothy Chalamet
Yeah.
for Mighty Supreme because they both split wins over the course of awards season. I'm not going to go into it, but either Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, SAGs, um, they both won,
Yeah.
throughout the awards season. But as far as the Oscar, only one person could walk away with the Oscar. And there was I don't want to say a campaign, but
Mhm.
Timothy Chalamet did a lot of
Oh
promotion
yeah.
for
Yeah,
this
he did.
movie.
Yeah, he
It
did.
did really well at the box office, a lot of eyes on it, a lot of buzz. Like, what a performance! What a
Mhm.
performance, guys. You have to go see this movie for his performance. You have to go see this. I went to see it because
Yep.
of the buzz of his performance. And up until they called Michael B. Jordan's name, I thought he was going to win it.
Oh
I,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
I thought Timothy Chalamet was going to win this. It wasn't guaranteed, but I
Mhm.
thought, and it was towards the end of the night, and we're going to talk about this. Marty Supreme hadn't won any Oscars, and I'm thinking, well, they'll at least give it to Timmy, right?
Yeah.
No,
No.
just a big shocker,
Uh, it,
and in the best way.
again, it really felt like everyone at the Oscars was rooting for Michael. Like that's just how it came off. It just came. So
Right.
like when it happened, like I think I was holding my breath. You see Michael B. Jordan, he's holding his breath and he exhales once they say his name, but it was just such a good moment. It was such a good moment. And I wasn't sure they were gonna go with Michael. I was rooting for it, but I wasn't sure. So I was so grateful that it did happen.
Yeah. So unfortunately for Timothy Chalamet, he's going the Leo route where he's just going to keep getting nominated,
And
and
he's young. It's okay. You're young.
right.
You're young. You're young. You're young.
Exactly. So, Call Me by Your Name, A Complete Unknown, um, and Marty Supreme. So 3 acting, and then he also got a Best Picture nomination for Marty Supreme because he was a producer on it. So,
Okay.
but 3 acting nominations so far. Um, let's see here. He didn't win the SAG for Marty Supreme. He did not win the BAFTA for Marty Supreme. He won the Critics' Choice for Marty Supreme, and he won Golden Globe, the Best
Hmm.
Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Um, so we'll see what happens with Timmy moving forward, but it was not his night.
Yeah.
But once again, it was a little bit of a shock, but in the best way that Michael B. Jordan won. I was
Yeah,
really
dude.
glad. You can't help but root for him when he got up there. Such a
Yeah,
charismatic,
man. Like,
so
like,
charismatic and humble too.
yeah, and I think that's the thing is that Michael's like he comes off very humble and he appreciates everything that he's given, and you could just hear it in his words, and
Yeah,
and we've been watching him for a long time, so
right.
you know how much work he's put in, and you see the relationship between him and Ryan Coogler, and you see it becoming stronger each time they work together. Like, there's so much to root for.
Yeah. So I remember we talk about this. Like, the thing about the MCU for so many years was like there weren't any memorable villains besides
Hmm.
Loki. And then finally Black Panther comes out and it's like, oh, Killmonger was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good,
dude.
right?
Yup. He was so good that people kept secretly hoping, like, can you bring him back? Like they would like he
Right.
was that good.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next up we have Best Director.
Mm.
So we have Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, and then the final two here, we have Ryan Coogler for Sinners, and then this is our winner. And we'll talk about this for a little bit here. We have our winner, Paul Thomas Anderson, one battle after another. So at this point, it's looking like, you know, the Academy really wanted to reward one battle for the amount of Oscars that were going on. He had already won Best Adapted Screenplay. Coogler won Best Original Screenplay. So now it would be between the two of them, basically, if we're going based upon who won the writing Oscars. Could somebody else have won it? Obviously, but once again, the Academy tend to line it up with the same movie there. So I'm disappointed Ryan Coogler didn't win.
Yeah, I was rooting for Ryan. Yeah,
but obviously, once we saw what happened with the Best Picture, that's what the Academy lined up with. So I'm happy for Paul Thomas Anderson in the sense that this was his first Oscar. He's been doing this for a very long time, many Oscar nominations over the years for his movies. It felt like it was a long time coming, and then that's what the Academy did. And for some people feel like this was his best movie.
Yeah. I've heard people say this. I've heard people call this a perfect movie. They're like it's perfect. Like they're like, it's just nothing I would change about it. You know what I mean? Like I've heard it.
Yeah. So shout out to Paul Thomas Anderson, one battle after another. Hey, Ryan Coogler is young.
Yeah,
he'll be back.
And look, and like he won. That's why I was rooting so hard for Best Original Screenplay, because essentially he got the Oscar for his creative mind, his process. Everything about that movie revolves around his writing. So I was so happy he got that. So if he wasn't going to get Best Director, that's the next best thing to get his Best Original Screenplay when he wrote that thing himself. So like that was awesome.
Alrighty, so we have our final award of the night, Best Picture. We got a list of movies here. Our nominees: Train Dreams, Sentimental Value, The Secret Agent, Marty Supreme, Hamnet, Frankenstein, F1, Begonia, Sinners, and then our winner. Let's little screen share here. So you already know by now it's one battle after another. And oh boy, so we have Paul Thomas Anderson, Adam Somner, and Sarah Murphy. So whew.
Yeah, this was a big one. This one, again, how the night was going,
right?
And it seemed like a genuine, like I use the word battle between one battle after another and Sinners.
Right.
At this point in the night, I'm like, okay. I'm like, one battle got this award, Sinners got this. One battle got this, Sinners got this. And the way it was leaning, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, okay, cool. Sinners is going to get it. Like, okay, that's where we're leading. Sinners, this is where we're going to get it. This is where we're going to get it. But if you give Best Director, and we've heard this argument before, it's like, well, how is this person the Best Director but doesn't get the Best Picture? And it was like, how are you not nominated for this and that? So the fact that both W.S. Anderson and or Thomas Anderson and Coogler, one for adapted screenplay, one for original screenplay. So they were it's neck and neck, both for that. Then you had Best Director they're competing for, and they gave it to Anderson, and it was just like, okay, like maybe they're gonna give Best Picture to Ryan Coogler and Sinners. Like maybe that's Best Picture. Like that, because we know sometimes there's that game within the Oscars, like, oh, we're gonna do this for this, so we can line this one up here. So
spread the love out, right?
Yep, we spread it out. So I'm like, that's what we're gonna do. So when they called one battle after another, I was like, oh, like, okay, that's not what I was. That's not where I thought it was going to go. And I explained it to you and to many other people as well, is that I enjoyed one battle after another. I did thoroughly. fantastic performances, great writing. Didn't know where the story was going to go. Loved it. Sinners, loved it, adored it. The key difference between those two movies for me personally was how moved I was emotionally and as a viewer after seeing Sinners. And I hadn't been moved by a movie like Sinners in a very long time. Like when I finished one battle after another, I was like, that's a great flick. And that's kind of where I left it. That was a great flick. And I was like, cool. When I watch Sinners, I just like, it's like when it's like having an outer body experience kind of thing. Like I remember just like, again, there were moments in the movie where I'm just like, we're seeing something special. And there's something for me to just dig my teeth into. And there's so much extra flavor, right? That it's not just a vampire movie. There's something else underneath. And I love when movies can do that when they're layered. So for me, I was rooting for Sinners because of that, because of how emotionally moved and charged I was after seeing it. One battle after another, I walked out going, great movie. Sinners, I was like, I need to digest this. I want to think about this. I want to be emotional. Like, it was just a beautiful film, man. Just a beautiful film.
Yeah, and I think people were looking to see who would get the best picture.
Yeah,
so
that was a big
you
one.
know, it was going to be between Sinners and One Battle. Let's be honest. Just based upon all of the nominations and such. So we're going to move forward here and just discuss just the most nominations versus the most wins. So
Yeah.
Under 8 nominations, we have Sentimental Value, which got 1 win, and then Hamnet, which got 1 win. So Sentimental got the best international foreign film, and then Hamnet, obviously, best actress, Jessie Buckley. Under 9 nominations, we have Frankenstein, and then Frankenstein got 3 wins. I believe that was production design, makeup and hairstyling, and I forget the other one. We talked about it earlier. Let's take a peek here. We talked about it tonight. Apologies. Oh, costume design.
Yeah.
So costume design, makeup and hairstyling, and then production design. Marty Supreme also had 9 nominations.
Oh, yeah.
Goose egg.
Didn't get any, dude. Like
0.
That's crazy. Like it didn't get 1. And I was like, wow, when that happens, it's always shocking.
Yeah. Because it didn't win, I am going to list all of the ones it was nominated for. Best costume design, best editing, best production design, best cinematography, best casting, best original screenplay, best actor, best director, and best picture. Not 1.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Under 13 nominations, we have One Battle After Another, and it ended up getting 6 wins. Let's see here. Is this? See if I can find it. Alrighty, One Battle After Another. All right, let's take a peek here. Academy Awards. It was nominated for Best Sound, Best Production Design, Best Original Score. It won for Best Film Editing, nominated for Best Cinematography, 1 Best Casting, 1 Best Adapted Screenplay, nominated for Best Supporting Actress, 1 for Best Supporting Actor, Sean Penn. Benicio del Toro was another nomination, Best Supporting Actor. Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio, and 1 for Best Director, and a 1 for Best Picture. So it ended up being the big winner of the night with 6 wins versus 13 nominations. Yeah. And then let's take a look at Sinners, which, to my understanding, it set the record for the most nominated movie of all time. 16 nominations.
Woo!
Yeah. Unfortunately, only 4 wins, but
yeah,
let's go through it here. Nominated for Best Visual Effects, Best Sound, Best Production Design, Best Original Song. It won for Best Original Score. Nominated Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Nominated for Best Costume Design. Nominated for Best Film Editing. Won for Best Cinematography. Nominated for Best Casting. Won for Best Original Screenplay. Nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Mhm.
Won Best Actor. And then nominated for Best Director and nominated for Best Picture. So 4 wins. So those were the most nominations versus the wins.
Yeah.
Typically, when somebody has a lot of nominations, you think they're going to probably end up walking away with the most wins of the night.
Mhm.
But that didn't happen tonight. It ended up being the movie with 13 nominations versus 16. It ended up winning 6 wins versus 4 for Sinners. So we're going to start winding down here with our closing thoughts here. And I like to try to find like a picture where everyone's lined up with the Oscars. So of note, so these are the two. I pasted them together here.
Yeah,
So
it's awesome.
yeah, on the one side we have the Sinners
Yeah,
winners, all 4 winners standing with their Oscars, and so that's Sinners with the 4. So and then I pasted one battle after another. That's Paul Thomas Anderson with his 3 Oscars, and then that's one of his producers. There, let's see here. That would be Sarah Murphy, and I believe the other producer, Adam Somner, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he passed away, which is why he wasn't there. So they named him as one of the other producers. So that accounted for 1, 2, 3 wins, and then there was 3 others that weren't present. Obviously, we have Sean Penn. He was not
Yeah.
there, and let me see here. There was a few others that weren't there. Sean Penn wasn't there. The woman that won Best Casting wasn't there, and then the individual that did the Best Film Editing, he wasn't there for the picture. So
Yeah.
everyone showed up for Ryan Coogler. Come on, Paul Thomas.
Yeah,
Where's
you know
your
what I mean?
people at? You
It's
know,
like, listen, bro, that's what I'm saying, brother. Like it was so nice watching them win because you felt like they were such a community. You know what I
right?
mean? Like they were just so like family. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, no shade, but
Yeah, no, not at
man,
all.
let's
Not
get
at all.
together for a picture to celebrate,
Not
you
at
know?
all.
And
Not at all.
obviously after it's chaotic, maybe some people went
Yes.
home,
Yeah.
maybe not, but I thought that was really cool, everyone lined up for Ryan Coogler. Hey, let's take a picture together, everybody, so I thought that was pretty cool. So we are going to wind down now, just talking about this. And I wanted to focus on, you know, essentially this, I felt like a legacy night for Paul Thomas Anderson. So we're going to wind down talking about why One Battle was the big winner for the night and why this was possibly a legacy night for Paul Thomas Anderson. So let's take a peek here. So before we did that, I want to show some love to Ryan Coogler. So
Yeah.
he was nominated previously Best Picture, Judas and the Black Messiah, Best Original Song, Lift Me Up, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and then 3 nominations for Sinners, Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay, which he won. Let's take a look at Paul Thomas Anderson. It's quite the list.
Yeah.
So Best Original Screenplay, Boogie Nights. Best Original Screenplay, Magnolia. For There Will Be Blood, we have Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay. Then for Inherent Vice, we have Best Adapted Screenplay. For Phantom Thread, we have Best Director, Best Picture. For Licorice Pizza, we have Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like over 10. 10,
Oh, yeah.
12, 13, like all these nominations, not a single win. over these years, and people have hailed this man as just
Yeah.
one of the greats.
You
People
hear his
love his
name in that
movies. Right?
conversation.
These are great movies.
Yeah.
But he's not one single Oscar, not for him anyway.
Yeah.
Um, obviously, we have um, Daniel Day-Lewis, one of the greats. He won it for
Oh yeah.
But There Will Be Blood. If he's in a movie, he's probably going to get nominated or win the Oscar.
If you're going against Daniel Day-Lewis, brother, just
Yeah,
hang on tight. Just hang
yeah,
on tight.
yeah. So it's not like his works haven't won, but uh, he hasn't won. So he ended up winning all three that he was nominated in.
Mhm.
He won for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay. And a part of me would like to feel like, not that it didn't deserve it, and I hate saying this
Yeah.
because One Battle was a great movie.
It was.
It,
Like
it was it was
it
a
was a great
great
movie.
movie. Um, but so now I'm going to sound negative here. I read this, and I think this encapsulates my feelings. One Battle After Another will be looked at as the big winner of the night,
Oh.
but people will continue talking about Sinners for years to come.
I saw a similar post about that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to end up happening. People will talk about One Battle, but
Yes.
as far as the cultural significance, as far as it
That
being a
yeah,
genre
yeah.
film,
Yeah.
as far as it, being, history making for the Black community, as
Mhm.
far as it being Michael B. Jordan's first win, like there's so much to talk about
Yeah.
with Sinners and how special Sinners was. I feel like it's going to be talked about more when
Yeah.
we look back at history versus One Battle.
I
Please,
agree.
Ricardo.
I agree. I think it's going to be talked about more for a longer period of time because again, there's so much to, pun intended, sink your teeth into.
Oh yeah,
There's like again, I walked away with the exact feeling of One Battle After Another, thinking that was a great film. After Sinners, it just opened up so many conversations. And I think that's the key difference. And I saw a similar post to what you're mentioning, where One Battle After Another may often be recognized as the movie that won the Oscar, in which many people think Sinners should have won. And it's unfortunate when that happens because, again, One Battle After Another is a great picture. It's a great film.
right.
But you have a lot of people that are going to go, oh, it was great, but I wanted Sinners. And that happens. There are people that are always going to root for the movie that didn't win or a movie that was snubbed. Like, it happens. But I genuinely think that I walk away from Sinners with just so much to talk about. And I think that cinema will talk about it for years to come. I think that the movie One Battle After Another, not that it will be forgotten. I because that sounds harsh. I don't think it's gonna be forgotten, but I think it will just fit back into the category, right? It'll go right back into this category from Mr. Anderson, and it'll rest there and be like, yeah, that's a great film in his filmography. But I feel like Sinners is that movie that's just constantly going to be left out for conversation, and it has a bigger cultural impact on film in itself. And where I said it was like sometimes you watch a movie where it kind of surpasses just being a movie. And I think that's what Sinners was. Like, it surpassed being more than just a movie, and that's special.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. The Academy is really funny because sometimes it's like, okay, that was the right call.
Yeah.
That person should have won. And sometimes it's like, well, they gave it to them for this because they should have won it for this
Yeah.
from years past. That
Yep.
happens. So you mean to tell me Leo was nominated like a ridiculous amount of times? I want to say
Oh my God.
it was like 10 before he won,
Yep.
something like that. So you mean along the way he shouldn't have won for at least one? Of course not.
Yeah.
But then finally he ended up winning it for The Revenant. The poor man,
Revenant.
he almost died.
Yeah, they were like, throw this man in the cold. He's going to eat real bison meat raw.
Yeah, raw.
You know what I mean? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
They put your boy through the ringer.
I mean,
for
it was
that
the right
one.
call. He won that year, but it kind of felt like, okay, we're finally going to give it to him. So,
Yes, like
and that's what they'll do sometimes. And I feel like it was just unfortunate because if One Battle hadn't happened, I think Sinners would have went nuts for the
oh
win.
yeah, 100%. 100%.
So, but it was Paul Thomas Anderson, and I feel like I'm sour over it, and I'm not. One Battle was a
Yeah,
great
yeah, yeah,
movie. Paul
yeah.
Thomas Anderson has an amazing filmography, but it felt like a legacy night for him. That's just,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and it's totally
So
understandable. It's totally understandable because I feel like a lot of people walked away feeling the same. Like I have a chat with a group of people and they were very disappointed. They were just like, "Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, it should have been Sinners, should have been Sinners," and
yeah,
understandably so
right.
because
And if
again, yeah.
anything, and we've seen them split the love too, where the director
Yeah.
got it, but then somebody else got Best
Yes,
Picture,
absolutely.
or
Which
vice
why
versa, right?
yeah, in which case people would ask, well, how did they get this but not this? Because it has happened in the past. So I thought that's what was happening. I
Right.
was like, as soon as Paul Thomas Anderson won Best Director, I was like, oh, okay. They're gonna give the best picture to Sinners, and that's what they're gonna do. But that ultimately didn't happen in the end.
It did not. It did not. So, all righty. Folks, that was the Panel Bros official discussion and reaction to the 2026 Oscars. If you could please give us a like, share, and subscribe at the Panel Bros on YouTube, we would appreciate it. The more you do that, the more it helps our reach. If you could please also give us a comment below, let us know how you felt about the 2026 Oscars. Do you agree with some of the decisions? What were some of your picks?
Mhm.
Please let us know in the comments below. Folks, we are inching towards our 100th episode. Uh, this
Yeah.
was this was episode 94, so we are getting there. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much for your support. We have a lot more plans, so thank you, folks. For Ricardo Segura, this is Anderson Marchak saying thank you for coming to the panel.